It's the Cast Prince combo deal for all events.
Yes!
Weddings, conferences, birthdays, burials, etc. Starting from 495,000 naira only. You get 50 invites, 50 A2 size posters, 50 16-page brochures, 1 large backdrop banner, 1 roll-up banner, 50 jotters with pens, and 50 souvenir carrier bags. Whatever event you're planning, we can adjust to your budget and quantities. Just send your pictures and other information through WhatsApp, and we shall send a design for your approval. Approve your design, and we will produce with super high-quality digital print technology. We can even arrange delivery to your location. Call us now on 0913-156-5016 or 0812-794-9323 or visit our social media pages. Cast Prints, digital printing at super speed.
Let's give it up for Babata! A 358 pounds! Let's give it up for Destroyer!
What is your fear beneath the appearance of incredible infrastructure, standard facilities, and beautiful amenities? Our estates at Adron Homes come affordable with great discounts and flexible payment plans. No stress, no hassles. Beat your fears and take that bold step today. Subscribe to own your property. Adron Homes.
Building cities, communities, and homes.
Báwo ni arẹwà? O lè má mọ̀ gbà tí èémí ẹnu rẹ̀ ń rùn. Ó sì lè jẹ́ bakitéríà ló fà á. Má jẹ́ kí èémí ẹnu rírùn tí bakitéríà ṣe okùnfà yẹ̀yẹ́ rẹ. Lo Close-Up tó ní antibacterial zinc. Close-Up á bá ọ lé èémí ẹnu rírùn bakitéríà lọ.
From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital. This is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Army recovers bodies of 14 out of 16 soldiers killed while on a peace mission in Okwama community in Delta State. Chief of Defense Staff orders immediate investigation and arrest of those involved in the murder. Gunmen kidnapped chairman of the People's Democratic Party in Edo State, Tony Aziegbemi. Police operatives, vigilantes and hunters begin operation to rescue the victim. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike Lambas perceived political opponents, describes them as snakes and betrayers who cannot be trusted. And Russia shuts down shops and schools in Belgrade after airstrikes that authorities have blamed on Ukraine. On sports news tonight, Manchester City FC cruise into the semi-finals of the English FA Cup for the 7th time in 8 seasons with a comfortable victory over Newcastle United.
On business news tonight, Lagos State government commences sale of food items at discounted prices to mitigate rising food inflation at record high of 37.92%.
We begin on a rather sad note in Delta State, where the bodies of 14 out of the 16 military personnel killed in Okwama community in Ughelli South local government area of Delta State have been recovered. The recovery was carried out by soldiers of the Joint Task Force under the supervision of the General Officer Commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Jamal Abdulsalam. It was gathered that some of the recovered corpses were found to have been beheaded, while some vital parts of others were ripped off. The bodies of the commanding officer and 2 majors were seen floating by the riverbank at the NDDC jetty in the coastal Delta community, as others were separated on land. Meanwhile, there is set to be heavy presence of operatives of the 6th Division Nigerian Army Port Harcourt in some communities bordering Bomadi and Ugeli South local government areas. The 6th Division also oversees the 63 Brigade in Asaba, the Delta State capital. In the meantime, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has directed the immediate investigation and arrest of those involved in the killing of the military personnel on a peace mission to Okwama community in Bomadi local government area of Delta State. A statement by the Acting Director, Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukur Guzo, explains that troops of 181 Amphibious Battalion, Bomadi local government area of Delta State, while on a peace mission to Okwama community, were surrounded by some community youth and killed on Thursday, March the 14th. It adds that the troops were attacked after they responded to a distress call following the communal crisis between the Okwama and Okoloba communities, both in Delta State. According to the statement, a reinforcement team led by the commanding officer was also attacked, leading to the death of the commanding officer, 2 majors, 1 captain, and 12 soldiers. General Guzo adds that a few arrests have been made, while steps are being taken to unravel the motive behind the attack, maintaining that the military remains focused and committed to its mandate of maintaining peace and security in the country. In neighboring Edo State, the chairman of the Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, Tony Azegbemi, has been kidnapped by yet-to-be-identified gunmen. The State Police Command explains in a statement that the PDP chairman was abducted at about 11:45 p.m. yesterday, according to his driver, one Joseph Mpete, who reported the incident. It adds that the victim attended a meeting at the Edo State Government House, Benin City, and on his way home, 6 armed men in 2 white-collared Toyota Corolla saloon cars accosted him, threatened to shoot him as he attempted to run away, forcing him to stop, and before being forcefully taken away while his driver ran in another direction. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police, Edo State Command, CP Funsho Adegboye, is said to have directed the police tactical team to work with the vigilante group and the hunters in order to rescue him. Also, the Commissioner for Communication and Orientation, Mr. Chris Neikare, explains in a statement that the state government is working closely with security agencies to rescue the Edo PDP chairman. Away from security matters, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has lambasted those he referred to as snakes who cannot be trusted. The former governor of Rivers State made this remark in Port Harcourt at the 60th birthday ceremony of the APC National Vice Chairman South-South, Mr. Victor Giadom. While appreciating the celebrant for his loyalty, Mr. Wike threw shades at some of his perceived political opponents.
Victor remembers his friends, even though we're different parties. Victor has never gone on television or media houses to accuse any of his friends. Victor does not allow politics to be a wedge between him and his friends. He will play the politics, he will still relate with you. That is Victor for you. Victor is somebody, when he tells you he will be with you, go home and sleep. Victor will be with you. Victor is not a pretender. Victor is not one of those who have made the Guinness Book of Record by pretending. You understand what I mean? There are those who have made the Guinness Book of Record by pretending nobody knew that they were sleeping. Victor will tell you, I will not do this, I will not do this. Senator will tell you, I will do this, and he will do it. Even though my assembly members are APC. But I'm a full member of Well, I have come here to identify with him. It's not politics of bitterness.
Ahead of the forthcoming All Progressives Congress APC governorship primary in Ondo State, all unit managers and ward supervisors in Ondo North working for an aspirant, Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, have submitted their reports to APC stakeholders in Owo. This is part of the mobilization activities of the governorship aspirant aimed at reaching out to members of the APC at the grassroots in the state. Senator Ibrahim has also called for unit-by-unit meetings with the people across Ondo State.
Seated in this hall are unit managers and ward supervisors in Ondo North assigned to get data of party members at local government level across Ondo State. The exercise tagged Asheyori is a political program put together by sitting senator and governorship aspirant Mr. Jimoh Ibrahim in preparation for the forthcoming All Progressives Congress governorship primary in the state, and so far he has visited 104 wards out of 203.
Or the political manager in each unit.
Speaking at the venue for submission of forms in Owo, Senator Ibrahim underscores the focus of the movement.
The people you are seeing here today, they are just from the North Senatorial District. So we have the same figure in the Central Senatorial District and in the South Senatorial District. The training today is meant for the Northern Senatorial District. Those are agents that collect data, the members, the political manager that collect data from the North. In the North Central District, we have 6 local governments, and those are the data that we have. So whichever way you do, you can be sure that the election is coming at the time, and then we are going to win very easily because we are data analysts.
Some political heavyweights and party members in the state were also standing with him describe him as a reliable and formidable politician.
He's a man who is highly cerebral. He's a man who is so courageous. He's a man who is very bold. And he's a man, if he believes in something, he pursues it until he gets it.
He is a man that is generous. When he laid down the program that he's having for the state, you will know Ondo State is going to be better.
The approach that we have used for this impending primary election is quite different from the conventional one that everybody knows, where people will come and say they are adopting this, they are adopting that. We have gone directly to the grassroots, to the people who will do the voting on the day of the election.
He's highly cerebral, super cerebral, and is the type of person I think that will handle this state and bring a lot of positive changes to the governors and people of Ondo State. And whoever can do that, I think is a man to support.
There are 6 local government areas in Ondo State, and the governorship primary is scheduled to hold on the 26th of April.
2 health matters in Gombe State, which is positioning itself as a shining example in the provision of healthcare services in the Northeast sub-region and the country as a whole. This has led the National Health Insurance Scheme to send a delegation to learn a thing or two about how the state is deploying technology to provide first-rate healthcare services from urban centers to the rural areas. Besides providing fully equipped primary healthcare centers in all 114 wards of the state, the government says it is finalizing work on mega hospitals in the 3 senatorial districts of the state.
Shortly after his swearing in for the first term in 2019, Governor Inuwa Yahya of Gombe State declared a state of emergency on the state's health sector. In line with world best practices and in keeping with World Health Organization's benchmarks, the governor dug his heels in to ensure universal health coverage through a set of well-equipped, fully funded, and adequately staffed health facilities strategically placed in rural and urban public spaces of Gombe State. Governor Yahya also put an insurance scheme in place called Go Health, becoming the first to enroll, an initiative that resonates with the masses and common people of Gombe State. According to the Gombe State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Habu Dahiru, far-reaching reforms in tune with sustainable development goals expressed in a document called Gombe State Development Plan Devagam 2030 to 2030 and Governor Yahiya's political will form the driving forces for the numerous milestones recorded in the state's health sector.
The political will is there, then he's supported the political will with adequate budgetary provision to now say, I want to do this in these locations. And the first point of call was the specialist hospital. He transformed. Now, if you go to the A&E, it's an upstairs story building where you have A&E complex where you triage, you have offices, you have conference rooms, you have seminar rooms, you have the general outpatient, then the emergency pediatric unit was also enhanced. We have developed, you remember, the Gombe State Development Plan 2021 to 2030. We've inputted almost everything there so that by the year, you don't need to come to me to say, yes, I need a hospital here, or I need a dispensary here, or I need a maternity here. We've inputted that. Then the training plans I had told you, every year the number of people we need to go and train and put in there.
For the primary healthcare agency, Governor Yahya has made Gombe a shining example in providing primary health care at the grassroots.
The governor has upgraded 114 primary healthcare facilities, and these facilities are linked to secondary health facilities for appropriate referral. And one hospital per senatorial zone, secondary facility, has also been upgraded, and they have been provided with the state-of-the-art equipment, new beds, diagnostic equipment, digital x-rays, and so on and so forth.
On the academic side, the College of Medical Sciences and the College of Nursing have graduated an average of 4 sets of students serving the much-needed manpower demands of the state's health sector.
We also graduated 4 sets of pharmacists. All these, the majority are indigenous of the state and also back to serve the state. So now we're introducing the nursing program, nursing sciences program. And the next few years, by the time the first set are graduating, they're also going to human resource in terms of nursing, which is grossly deficient in the state. And of course, the public health also we're bringing a degree program now, so that all those staff who have initially done the diploma have the opportunity now to come and do a degree program in public health.
The various achievements of Governor Yahya in the health sector has brought many states to understudy Gombe State's health sector, and on the international stage, the governor was invited by the Chatham House to share the success story of Gombe in its pursuit of universal health coverage.
In part 2 after the break, parents of 24-year-old first-class graduate Rebecca Sekidika alleged negligence by Paragon Clinics following their daughter's death in the medical facility in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Please stay with us.
Hello, my bro. Man, the rain is so heavy here. And there's so much traffic. I think we should postpone, huh?
Not a chance. Aisha.
We don't quit, guys. I'll be there.
Done.
2 files received.
I'm on my way. Take first right in 50 meters and you're there.
Copy that. Aisha, where are you?
Guess where?
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Move. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Runway X.
The future of fashion showcasing.
Very impressive. How did you pull that off?
With Nigeria's top tech talents.
And Glow.
Power your relentless ambition with ultra-high-speed data. Glow with pride.
With Glovo, you order anything you want, and when you receive it, you celebrate with your whole body. Because when that tasty grilled chicken is here, the weekend starts. The ingredients for your favorite recipe just in time. And when the cake arrives, the party is on. Because receiving anything on Global deserves a dance. Download the app, order anything you want, and track it minute by minute until it arrives. Global, order anything, we deliver in minutes.
Do you know that you can now print all your essential items for events without even having to leave your home? It's the Cash Print Combo Deal for all events.
Yes!
Weddings, conferences, birthdays, burials, etc. Starting from 495,000 Naira only. You get 50 invites, 50 A2 size posters, 50 16-page brochures, 1 large backdrop banner, 1 roll-up banner, 50 jotters with pens, and 50 souvenir carrier bags. Whatever event you're planning, we can adjust to your budget and quantities. Just send your pictures and other information through WhatsApp, and we shall send a design for your approval. Approve your design, and we will produce with super high-quality digital print technology. We can even arrange delivery to your location. Call us now on 0913-156-5016 or 0812-794-9323 or visit our social media pages. Casprints, digital printing at super speed.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Army recovers bodies of 14 out of 16 soldiers killed while on a peace mission in Okwama community in Delta State. Chief of Defense Staff orders immediate investigation and arrest of those involved in the murder. Gunmen kidnapped chairman of the People's Democratic Party in Edo State, Tony Azegbemi. Police operatives, vigilantes and hunters begin operation to rescue the victim. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike lambasts perceived political opponents, describes them as snakes and betrayers who cannot be trusted. And Russia shuts down shops and schools in Belgorod after airstrikes that authorities have blamed on Ukraine. We head to River State now, where the recent death of a 24-year-old first-class graduate, Rebecca Sakidika, at Paragon Clinics in Port Harcourt, has become a subject of controversy. The victim's parents are now pointing fingers at the hospital, alleging negligence and even murder. Our correspondent, Deborah Agbalama, has more on this developing story.
In early February, the news of Rebecca Sakidika's death sent shockwaves across River State and beyond. Described as a girl with both beauty and brain, Rebecca had just graduated with a first class from the Benson Idahoso University, Edo State, and was set to embark on a journey to further her studies abroad. Tragically, her dreams were cut short while undergoing a routine hysteroscopy diagnosis at Paragon Clinics and Images in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. The clinic, which holds a retainer agreement with the company where Rebecca's father works, now finds itself at the center of the controversy. We reached out to Mr. Samson Sakidika, Rebecca's father, for his account of the events leading up to her death.
What happened on that fateful day was, after a series of clinical visits to Paragon and Imaging, because of a delayed period, she complained she hadn't seen for like 3 months. She did several tests, which came out to be negative, including pregnancy tests. So she was to travel on the night. She started arranging herself and all that to the UK to further education. So she was now called that same week, just before the 2nd, that her death occurred. She said the doctor asked her to come between 12 and 1. So the mom said she was going to accompany her. Since it is something that involves you just getting the check and you come out, then we'll go and do other things. So the mom decided to follow her. 1 o'clock, the doctor was not there. I said, let me get 1 or 2 things out of the way. Then I'm coming back. So I waited. By 4:10 or so, when I called my wife, she said, the doctor has come, that they are preparing. And the next thing, by 4:30, she just finished her last online class, folded her laptop and gave it to the mother to put in her bag and put on the lab coat also, what they gave to her to wear. So I said, why theater? They said that's where they have the monitor to check what they are doing, because normally when you're carrying out that procedure, you'll be seeing it on the monitor. The next thing, my wife came that she's hearing some shout in the theater. Say, Rebecca, wake up, wake up, wake up. Rebecca, wake up. They were just, then she saw them. So we now got up and said, what's going on? Till 5:30 to 6, they were not out. They did not even allow us to go close to the theater. Next thing I saw was, somebody rolling. This was around after his oxygen bottle. They brought the first one. Apparently there was nothing in it. They came, saw somebody, a doctor. He said, can we see you? I said, sure. They now took me to the room before the theater. And all they said was that, sorry, we did everything we could. We lost her. The girl that was normal, healthy, hale and hearty, we joked that morning, that afternoon. She was jumping all over the playful, very jovial. He said, you lost. I don't understand. It was like somebody should wake me up from this bad dream. So when I went in the theater, then they opened the theater door and I went and I saw my daughter in a pool of blood everywhere.
Our attempt to get a statement from Paragon Clinics and Images is unsuccessful as we are denied access. Instead, we are directed to the River State chapter of the Nigerian Medical Association. The NMA, however, expresses sympathy for the Sekedika family, saying that the incident was due to a therapy procedure gone awry and should not be a murder incident.
The dynamism makes it that things happen in course of treatment. For me, as an individual, as a doctor, every medical procedure, as it were, is to make a patient well or make a patient feel better. But a diagnostic hysteroscopy, as it were, quote and unquote, is not a life-threatening procedure, as it were. It's not a life-threatening procedure. But the question now is, was it just diagnostic hysteroscopy that was done?
To shed light on the ongoing investigation, we speak to the River State Commissioner of Police, Olatunji Disu. He explains to us that samples were taken from Rebecca's body before her burial 2 weeks ago for an autopsy and toxicology tests.
Yes, we have done everything necessary. We had 3 points we had to clear, which has to do with the qualification of the doctors who performed the procedure, their qualification, and then most importantly, the autopsy of the lady and toxicology. The autopsy has been done. The two parties were well represented. Specimens were taken for examination, but as of this moment, we are still awaiting the result of the autopsy and the result of the toxicology. The certificates of everybody involved have been sent to their different authorities for confirmation.
Despite Rebecca's burial, her family's counsel remains steadfast in their pursuit of justice, alleging negligence on the part of Paragon Clinics and Images.
We are also going ahead with the petitions we had written, not just to the Nigerian Medical Association of Nigerian Medical Association, the Port Harcourt chapter, but also to the Medical and Dental Council in Abuja. We also wrote a petition to the Commission of Health in River State here. From the information we've gathered so far, the Commission of Health here in River State has already put together a panel to investigate the matter and then come up with a report.
The death of this 24-year-old Sekedika Rebecca is quite unfortunate, and the pain is quite real because I saw for myself the devastating state her parents were when I arrived there. However, no one can do anything at this point until the police is done with their investigations and the autopsy and toxicology reports are out for us to really know what played out at Paragon Clinic on the 2nd of February when a young lady walked into a hospital for a diagnostic process that isn't life-threatening and ended up coming out as a corpse. From Port Harcourt, the River State capital, Deborah Balama, Channels Television News.
As Nigerians continue to grapple with the effects of reforms being implemented by the current administration, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Banking, Finance, Insurance and Other Institutions, Senator Mukail Abiru, has called for understanding from citizens. Senator Abiru made the appeal during the flag-off of the Institute of Capital Market Studies at the Nasarawa State University, KEFI, Nasarawa State. The federal lawmaker explains that the reforms are necessary for Nigeria's growth.
In 2 ways. If you follow the trajectory of the current administration in Nigeria, you will notice that what they are actually trying to do is to actually correct some of the macroeconomic fundamentals of the Nigerian economy that either prior governments have shied away from. So when you hear that fuel subsidy has been withdrawn, is to correct the market distortions that subsidy is causing, because it's not getting to those who should actually benefit. And I'm sure you will agree. Then when you hear things like, the convergence of the exchange rate too, is also to take away the rent-seeking opportunities that some people are taking advantage of. And those are things that have really distorted our economy. They are very bold decisions, I must admit, but we need to take them. I will also admit that it has elevated inflation, and once inflation has been elevated, it affects all of us. You understand? So that is part of some of the sense of hardship that we see. But honestly, if we don't go through this pain, we can only get into a worse path. So it's better we swallow the pill at this point, so that we can navigate our way back to to correct all of the distortions that we see in our macroeconomic framework. Now, having said that, a lot of people don't know, one of the key plans of this administration also is to grow the economy in a manner that we will see an economy that will grow to like a 1 trillion economy within 8 years.
Let's turn attention to infrastructure development in Kaduna State, where Governor Uba Sani has flagged off the construction of 327-kilometer road projects to 3 local government areas. He's also performed the groundbreaking for the construction of the Unwandosa new extension layout in Kaduna North local government area. Speaking at the flagging off ceremony, Governor Sani says the road, which will link Kaduna North, Chikun and Igabi councils when completed, will reduce travel time and improve business activities in those areas.
Governor Uba Sani arrives at Ungwandosa for the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of the dual carriage bridge linking the area with the Millennium City in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. He's accompanied by Deputy Governor of the state, Dr. Hadiza Balarabe, and other top state government officials. The project includes a dual carriage bridge linking College Road, Mashigi down the eastern bypass of the Millennium City. Others are the 10.5-kilometer IBB Way and the 7-kilometer MKO Abiola Way, all totaling 327 kilometers. One of the major compartments of the road projects is a dual carriage bridge that will ease the movement of the adjoining communities who for many years have relied on the use of canoes as their only means of transportation in the city center.
This bridge will not only enhance connectivity within our city, but also facilitate smoother transportation and thereby fostering further economic growth and improve quality of life for our people.
For the benefit of the people of Kaduna State and humanity in general.
In addition to the road project, Governor Sani also flags off the construction of the Nuru Suraj Ngwandosa new extension layout, all in an effort at opening up the new districts and providing decent housing accommodation for the citizens of Kaduna State.
Today, this very important project is about approximately 3,400 hectares of land. That is the entire landscape of this project. And at the same time, this project comprises of the provision of water and sanitation to all the communities, provision of power utilities, and it will also cut across about 8 districts. And this project, like I said, would cut across about 3 local governments. That is Kaduna North, Edo local government, and Chukwu local government.
For residents of Mekwala, the commencement of the construction of the road and bridge is a prayer answered.
We like the bridge. We like what the governor say about the bridge. And we are happy of what he come and did to us.
Despite being confronted by insecurity, the Kaduna state government, under the leadership of Governor Sani, has flagged off the construction of over 20 roads across the 3 senatorial districts of the state, and the governor says his administration will continue to open up new districts and providing access roads to connect communities, businesses, and vital services that will contribute to the socio-economic development of Kaduna State.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Lagos State government commences sale of food items at discounted prices to mitigate rising food inflation at record high of 37.92%. That will be on Business News. Please join us again.
There are 1,001 ways to start your day.
Whether you're in Lagos, Nigeria,
In London or anywhere in the world.
Or online.
We all want a perfect start to our day, don't we?
7 a.m. Every weekday, we bring you a better way to start your day.
Welcome back. In other stories, the Vice President of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, Mr. Donald Brown, has been speaking on how the fund is investing about $1.6 million across 12 projects to transform lives in the country. According to him, the fund is looking at extending some of its programs in the country, but identifies the non-payment of counterpart funding by some states as challenges in their implementation. Our correspondent, Sarah Achimugu, reports that Mr. Brown was speaking after concluding his official visit to Nigeria.
My name is Chukwuemeka Okera.
The Associate Vice President of the International Fund for Agricultural Development is leading other officials of the organization to a media briefing to mark the end of his visit to Nigeria. Mr. Brown is satisfied that the fund's project in Nigeria is impacting almost 4,000 rural households since 1985. However, there have been some challenges.
VCDP is a very big flagship project in Nigeria. It has been going for nearly 10 years now. It's had some very, very good results on the ground. And I am sympathetic to an extension that government has asked for. But there are some issues around the management of the project we need to address to make it more efficient and effective, which we have been talking to government about.
Other officials of the fund hint at the possible introduction of new programs to address the food challenge in the country.
The government is ready to play her part, like Donald rightly said. If on the government side the needful are done, then it is easier for me as a member of the IFAD Executive Board to convince my colleagues that are from all over the world.
We mobilize the farmer leaders of VCDP who are involved in setting up Commodity Alliance Forum. This Commodity Alliance Forum connects smallholder farmers to private sector. And so those farmer leaders went to the SAPZ startup workshop to share their experience on and to help SAPZ integrate this innovation that is actually being implemented already.
Since 1985, the International Fund for Agricultural Development has been at the forefront of boosting food nutrition, food security, and raising the income of women, youth, and persons living with disabilities. Sarah Chimugu, Channels Television News.
In Bauchi State, Governor Bala Mohammed says he is committed to the development of the livestock industry as it holds immense potential in the state. He believes that improving the industry can help prevent farmer-herder clashes in the country. The governor made these comments when a team from the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project paid him a courtesy visit. Our correspondent, Hajara Aliyu, reports.
A mission team from the World Bank's Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project, LPRES, is in Bauchi State to assess the progress of the project and evaluate the state's readiness for future initiatives. The team conducts assessment on the Milk Collection Center in Sulubawa, the Bauchi Meat Processing Company, and other related facilities. During their visit, the team also meets with Governor Bala Mohammed, who has already approved the allocation of 200 hectares of land for the establishment of a livestock service center. He unveils the project prototype at the Government House. Speaking at the chamber, the team leader explains that the project is performance-based, with Bauchi State demonstrating its preparedness to participate.
One of the only two states clearly mentioned in the project appraisal document and allowed to establish livestock service center through performance-based condition. This was because during the preparation, World Bank noted that the implementation readiness for Bauchi are more advanced than the rest of the participating states.
Governor Mohammed expresses his desire to leverage the benefits of the project to improve the lives of the people.
I have a huge appetite of providing solution to the herder and farmer clashes in Nigeria. With our arable land that have not been developed, we can arrest the imbroglio, the fight between farmers and herders, by providing large hectareage of land for people to stop the transhumance, the practice of pastoralism that has been stopped all over the world, so that we can provide water, grass, and place for the Fulani people and others to habitate and, of course, grow the livestock industry.
The program aims to enhance livestock productivity, commercialization, and resilience of targeted livestock. Hajara Aliyu, Channels Television News.
Staying with agriculture, the federal government has distributed farm inputs to farmers in Ebonyi State. Rice seedlings, herbicides, liquid organic fertilizers were given out to help in the cultivation of food crops. The farmers say they are hopeful of a good year with the support from the government.
Ahead of the year farming season, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security has distributed farm inputs to over 4,000 farmers in Ebonyi State. Farm inputs ranging from rice seedlings, herbicides, liquid organic fertilizer, among other things, were distributed to the farmers at Community Primary School Mbeke Isieke in the Ebonyi local government area of the state. During the distribution, the State Coordinator of Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Williams Onwe-Obazi, says the federal government deemed it necessary to distribute the farm inputs to farmers following food scarcity in the nation.
We know that there are problems ranging from the herdsmen, farmers clash, and other problems that farmers are facing. But the federal government is tackling these problems to ensure that farmers really go to the farm. And the National Assembly members keying into this has been very important because the time is ripe.
The senator representing the North Senatorial District and the Deputy Chief Whip of the Senate, Onyekachi Nwebonyi, emphasized on the importance of the farm inputs, which is geared towards increasing food security in the coming year.
So as we are giving you the rice seedlings, giving you the
herbicides, giving you the insecticides, and also giving you the modern fertilizer, the NPK liquid fertilizer. We expect you to use it in line with the training having given to us here from the Federal Minister of Agri.
The farmers will also be getting liquid organic fertilizers.
You add the 1 liter of the liquid to 40 liters of water. You can spray to the leaves, the stem, because it's not harmful. And then it's not crop selective. You can use it across all the crops, including plants.
Some of the beneficiaries commend the federal government for providing them with the farming kits and promise to ensure they utilize them to boost food production.
To farm the rice, plow the ground, farm it, use this very fertilizer on it. When the time for weeding comes, I will use the insecticide.
And plant the rice and spray the fertilizer and the
Bags of 20 kg of rice and other food items are distributed to over 5,000 households to reduce the level of hunger in the Bauchi North Senatorial District.
Recently, the President launched the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates Project, a public-private partnership initiative to address the nation's housing deficit. The government's plan involves the provision of over 5 million housing units nationwide over the next 10 years. In this special report, our correspondent Benny Ark provides an overview of the program.
Nigeria's housing challenges over the years created a significant disparity between the demand for housing and the available supply. According to data sources from the Federal Market Bank, Nigeria has an estimated 28 million housing deficit as of 2023. The consequence is that millions of Nigerians live in substandard or overcrowded conditions. Rapid urbanization, population growth, inadequate urban planning, insufficient investment in housing infrastructure, and limited access to financing have worsened attempts to build affordable and quality homes for Nigerians. Part of the 2024 target of President Bola Tinubu is to address the housing needs of Nigerians, and the Renewed Hope Cities and Estate Housing Initiative is a strategic program under the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development to address the housing gap across the country.
We decided to take one city in each geopolitical zone of the country. Each of the geopolitical zone, that makes it 6, plus FCT Abuja, that makes them 7. That's why the Renewed Hope Estates cities are going to be constructed. We want to construct 1,000 houses minimum to create that city in high-rise apartments and bungalows, high-rise apartments and terraces to ensure that Nigerians have access to those kind of houses. And we want to also go ahead and construct Renewed Hope Estates in 30 states of the Federation. Those are the houses that are going to be in bungalows that will be constructed in 30 states of the Federation.
The program aims to provide housing options that are affordable for low and medium income earners, thereby reducing the burden of housing costs on households. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development is working with a consortium of developers to build a total of 100,000 housing units nationwide. States are expected to provide a minimum of 50 hectares of land in proximity to their state capitals for the project.
We're looking to implement one of the largest green building initiatives of the government, which is in line with our commitment at COP28. So the program is not just to deliver 3,112 in Kasana only, it's across 100,000 across the entire country. The Kasana project is just a pilot. And when you look at the standards, when you talk about green buildings, you talk about standards that include solid engineering technology, and the best of engineering personnel are on the site to ensure that it meets the quality and expectation of the citizens.
The initial stage of the program aims to provide 20,000 housing units in the FCT, with 3,112 units designated for the construction at Kasana. Meanwhile, the ministry is leading efforts to facilitate access to credit for prospective homeowners through the National Housing Fund scheme, which is managed by the Federal Market Bank of Nigeria.
That entire program
to deliver 100,000 houses across the country, starting with 50,000 houses in the first phase, is premised on the understanding that the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria is going to provide the off-taker guarantee to the consortium of developers to make this possible. Nigerians would then have an opportunity to also enjoy mortgage finance, because once the houses are constructed, the FMBN will also provide the mortgage finance to the individual beneficiaries who are going to be the off-takers of those houses.
Under the program, several ownership avenues are accessible to Nigerians. These options include single-digit 30-year mortgage. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
Time now for some business news with Will Ibong. Will.
Thank you, Ayotunde, and welcome to Business News. Now, in a bid to alleviate the burden of rising food prices, the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has announced the commencement of discounted food sales across the state. Effective from Sunday, March the 17th, residents will have access to staple food items such as rice, beans, garri, bread, eggs, tomatoes, and pepper at a 25% discount. To ensure fairness and accessibility, a voucher system will be implemented alongside carefully selected independent payment solution providers and food vendors. The discounted food markets will be operational across the 5 divisions of Lagos, with 27 in Ikeja, 6 located in Lagos Island, 9 in Ikorodu, 5 in Ekpe, and 10 in Badagry. Now, the Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPPE, has raised concerns over the recent discussions in the House of Representatives regarding cement prices. Members of the House are alleging that cement manufacturers are arbitrary and exploitative in fixing the price of cement. The CPPE Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Muda Yusuf, warns against premature judgments, urging fair treatment and the opportunity for cement manufacturers to present their perspective before conclusions are drawn. Highlighting the complex challenges faced by manufacturers, the CPPE Chief Executive Officer emphasizes the need for evidence-based decisions and respectful engagement to safeguard investor interest and foster a conducive business environment. Now, the Debt Management Office, DMO, has debunked recent claims regarding the selection of transaction advisors for potential Eurobond issuance, saying that such reports are unfounded. According to the reports, the federal government had hired investment banks, including Citibank NA, JP Morgan Chase & Co., and Goldman Sachs, as well as Chapel Hill Denham, to seek advice on the Eurobond issuance. The DMO stresses that the appointment process for transaction advisors adheres strictly to the guidelines of the Public Procurement Act 2007 and requires approval from the Federal Executive Council, FEC. Also, any Eurobond issuance by the federal government of Nigeria necessitates approval from both FEC and a resolution from the National Assembly as mandated by relevant legislation. We go over to the domestic equities market to see how it ended the second full trading week of March, and it was strongly positive with an over 3% increase on the all-share index. However, performance on the sectoral indexes table was mostly positive as the oil and gas counter recorded a loan loss of 0.11%. Julius Berger, Nigeria PLC, topped the gainers chart with more than 30% gain on its share price. International Energy Insurance PLC led other losers with 27.38% loss, while the indigenous conglomerates Transnational Corporation PLC, GTCO, and Access Holdings PLC were the major contributors to a total of 1.77 billion equities traded this week. We see that the NASD OTC exchange ended in the red zone for the week as the market's key index fell by more than 4%. At the end of the trading week, the total volume of securities traded on the OTC exchange rose by 523.68%. The value traded was up by 17.22%, while the number of deals carried out from the 12 securities rose by more than 22%. Afriland Properties topped the gainers chart, while Mixter Real Estate led the decline in stocks. And that's a wrap on business news. It's back to you, Ayotunde, for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you so much, Will. Shops and schools have been closed in the Russian city of Belgorod after bombardments that authorities there have blamed on Ukraine. The governor of Belgorod, Vyacheslav Gladkov, said 2 people were killed as voting continues in a general election that Vladimir Putin is certain to win. Mr. Putin accused Ukraine of trying to disrupt his bid for another 6-year term, as students in Belgorod, which is near the border with Ukraine, will not attend school on Monday and Tuesday, while shopping centers in Belgorod will be closed on Sunday and Monday. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators gathered in front of the United Nations headquarters in New York City to demand a ceasefire in the ongoing fighting between Israel and Hamas, as well as an end to what they called genocide against the Palestinian people. The protesters chanted while holding up Palestinian flags and signs. Some paid tribute to Aaron Bushnell, a United States Air Force serviceman who set himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. in February in what he called an extreme protest against the killings in Gaza. Welcome to Sports News. And in the English FA Cup, Bernardo Silva scored twice as title holders Manchester City defeated Newcastle United 2-0 at the Etihad Stadium to reach the semi-finals for the 7th time in 8 seasons. Man City remained on course to repeat their treble triumph of Premier League, Champions League and FA Cup last season, as Pep Guardiola's side stretched their unbeaten run in all competitions to 22 games. Silva opened the scoring on 13 minutes when his effort looped in off Dan Burn. Silva's second deflected off Sven Botman into the net in the 31st minute. Meanwhile, Coventry City scored a 100th minute winner to stun Wolverhampton Wanderers 3-2 in the Classic and reached the FA Cup semi-finals. Coventry City led through Ellis Sims' strike until the 83rd minute before falling 2-1 behind after Wolves' own dramatic comeback. But Sims scored again to equalise in the 7th of 9 minutes of stoppage time, and Hagju Wright curled in 3 minutes later to spark wild celebrations for the visitors. The Championship side are going to Wembley into the semi-finals of the FA Cup for the first time since they won the competition in 1987. Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp believes Mohamed Salah is ready to wreak more damage on Manchester United in Sunday's FA Cup quarter-final as he gets back up to speed after a lengthy hamstring injury. Salah has scored more goals against Man United than any other club, netting 12 times in 13 meetings, and his return is a huge boost to Liverpool's quest for a potential quadruple. Liverpool's injury crisis is slowly beginning to clear, with Ibrahima Konate and Ryan Gravenberch in contention to make their return on Sunday.
And United had obviously a full week to prepare. Erik ten Hag is a really good manager. He will prepare them. He knows exactly how we play. So we'll face there some challenges we don't know in the moment. That's how it is. We don't have this time to prepare like this for an opponent and have to be ready anyway. So yes. It was always a tough place to go for us. It's not easy. It means everything to both fan groups. Means absolutely everything. We know that. We try to show that on the pitch as well with the work rate. But you never know. So there are no guarantees, just opportunities. That's how we see it, and we're really willing to give it a try.
Meanwhile, Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag looks ahead to what he describes as a big game as they prepare to take on their eternal rivals Liverpool in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. Man United have endured a poor season and need to overcome Liverpool at Old Trafford on Sunday to keep their hopes of silverware alive. Ten Hag expects to be boosted by the return of Rasmus Højlund, Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka for the game. Defeat on Sunday will increase the pressure on Ten Hag as speculation mounts over his future at Old Trafford following the arrival at the club of co-owner Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos.
Some games are bigger than others, that's definitely. And I think Manchester United, Liverpool, that's always a big game, but especially when it's quarter-final FA Cup. We're really looking forward. It's a special game, absolutely. To the fans, they see it as a very big game, and they are very eager for us to win this. And I'm sure they will ride behind us. And as you mentioned, there are more Liverpool fans, so they have to be really loud to support us, that we had them. But I'm convinced they will do that, absolutely.
Mauricio Pochettino has urged Chelsea FC to book a return to Wembley in the English FA Cup after revealing some of his nervous players were unable to sleep before their League Cup final defeat against Liverpool. Chelsea hosts Championship leaders Leicester City in their last 8 of the FA Cup at Stamford Bridge on Sunday. With the semi-finals of the competition held at Wembley, a win will give Chelsea the chance to make amends for their 1-0 loss to Liverpool in the League Cup showpiece in February. There are only 3 survivors, for example, from the 2021 FA Cup final matchday squad that lost to Leicester City: Reece James, Thiago Silva and Ben Chilwell. In basketball, Nikola Jokic dominated Victor Wembanyama in a big man battle as NBA champions Denver Nuggets defeated San Antonio Spurs 117-106. A 2-time NBA Most Valuable Player, Jokic scored 31 points on 13 of 19 shooting, while Jamal Murray added 15 points and 10 rebounds. The Denver Nuggets stretched their win streak to 5 games and seized sole possession of the Western Conference. Wembanyama had 17 points and added 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks for the San Antonio Spurs. And the main news again. The Nigerian Army today recovered bodies of 14 out of 16 soldiers killed while on a peace mission in Okwama community in Delta State. This came as Chief of Defense Staff ordered immediate investigation and arrest of those involved in the murder. Gunmen have kidnapped the chairman of the People's Democratic Party in Edo State, Tony Aziegbemi. Police operatives, vigilantes and hunters have now begun operation to rescue the victim. And Russia shuts down shops and schools in Belgorod after airstrikes that authorities have blamed on Ukraine. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Rotimi. Do have a good night and have a great weekend.